Pixlr, so Pixlr.com, and we're going to use that to edit a couple of photos. Previously I used to use PicMonkey, but it became a paid-for service. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up an image from a computer. So this requires you to have already saved a image on your computer. I'm just going to go to my random pics, and first one I'm going to do is I'm going to use a photo of me. So just a head and shoulders shot. To select and create a frame within a frame, we use the marquee tool, and we go in about that far to create a frame around it. This will allow us to do a few things. Number one is, if we wanted to add a filter on there and we wanted to embose, it's going to embose what's inside and create a flat frame on the outside, so it basically keeps what's on the outside. If I want to, though, I can actually reverse that by hitting edit and inverting the selection, so then it's what's outside that gets selected. This can actually be a useful process for many different tools. So then as I hit embose, you'll see that the outside becomes a little more cartoony in the way that it's treated as a filter. If I undo that again and I decide to, say, do a Gaussian blur or just a straight blur on it, it'll blur again what's outside the box. You can't really see, didn't do that much to it. One more time, if I go to filter and I go to, say, engrave, again you have the same kind of adjustment that happens there. So I'll undo that again. Again, if I go to adjustments and I go to, say, solarize, you'll see that it changes the color tones entirely, kind of to a photo negative on the outside of it. Of course, if I wanted to, I could also add a color, so it's set as black as my main color. If I wanted to go with a AU purple and use my paint bucket, then it will do that. As I go through, I can add splashes, because it's only adding what's on the color itself at this point in time. It's not adding to everything. Okay? Again, I'll undo a few dozen times here. To create it to actually go around the entire frame, I'd have to treat that as a different process and create a different layer on there, and then invert what's there. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to do something a little different, though. So now with it inverted the way it was, and I hit filters, I'm going to actually apply the kaleidoscope effect to it, and then I can change the proportions to it. So again, it becomes like a kaleidoscope with me as the focus. So then I'll hit edit and then deselect all, and that's the first part of our process. So I hit file, save. I'll save it as Kscope on my computer, and then OK. So I'm going to actually just save it as the desktop, because this is one of the two images that we'll bring into the blog. Next, I'm going to select the next image. So I'm going to file, open image. And what I want to do is I want to select me in a group photo. So I'm going to go back to my random pics again. And we'll go down to here. So here's me in a group. So I'm also going to use the invert tool, but I'm going to use a different type of select tool, which is the lasso tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to keep it clicked down, and I'm going to freehand draw around my head as precisely as possible, and the flesh around my neck. Leave it like that. Then I'm going to go edit, and then invert selection. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to adjustments and then old photo. So then everybody else gets bleached out and I become the color in the world. So then edit, deselect all, there's me looking beautiful, file, I'm going to do save, this one I'm going to call group. And we'll save that also to the desktop, because this is the group one that I'll bring in also into my blog. Okay? So that actually concludes the process. So they're now on the desktop, ready to be imported into Blogger, and have 2 functional photos, and these are the filters that I'll be looking for on your blog.